Hey neighbors, Kevin here with eTrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Blue Ox Trailer Hitch receiver here on our 2015 Dodge Durango. If you're like our neighbor today and you're planning on towing a small trailer, maybe you need to move somewhere, or you just want to throw a little bit of extra cargo on the back of your vehicle so you can haul it around, or even just a bike rack, a trailer hitch is going to be a necessary component to complete all of those tasks. And with the Blue Ox receiver, here it's going to give you a nice option where it's going to stick out just a bit further than most of the competition. Now this is going to have a hitch pin hole within less than an inch from the edge of our fascia, so you won't really have to worry about any kind of clearance issues if you have a folding accessory. So typically those cargo carriers, bike racks, anything like that can fold up, because you really only have about 3/4 inches from that pin up to here. So if you really have that tight of a shank, you could really sit there and measure it, but you should be pretty much good to go with that. Now the other thing that goes along with this is going to be our clearance from the ground. With the Durango sitting pretty high up because it is more of an SUV, it is going to give pretty good clearance. With our lifts added onto this, that adds about 8 inches. So we're sitting at 22 3/8, which would really be about 14 3/8 if we negate the lift adding on height here. So that's well over 12 inches. Typically we want to see 12 inches anytime we have a trailer hitch receiver on here. That way we know we don't have to use an adapter to get anything a little bit higher so that it's not scraping the ground anytime you go up an incline or down a decline. Along with that, this hitch is going to have a 6,000 pound gross towing weight capacity and a 900 pound tongue weight capacity. Now that does not mean that your vehicle can still tow 6,000 pounds. You definitely want to double check it. Go look in your owner's manual. You can figure out exactly what your gross vehicle weight rating is, and then look up the combined weight rating and then subtract whatever your trailer is to see exactly what you can tow on here. Now typically if you're going to add a trailer hitch in, you're also going to want to add in some wiring, so that way you can pass those traffic signals from your vehicle back to the trailer, especially if you have a cargo carrier that's pretty wide, or maybe your bike rack has really large bikes on it that could potentially cover your tail lights. So that's where adding in a little light on that, or maybe your bike rack already has one. Blue Ox does a nice job. They give you a mounting bracket already welded to the cross tube, so it makes it a whole lot easier and a little bit less expensive. So you're not having to buy a separate bracket, which typically we want to do a no-drill mounting bracket that just clamps onto the cross tube. This is already there for you, so all you'll need is just the bracket for either a 7-pole or 4-pole connector, depending on what you go with. Along with that, we also need to hook up our safety chains if we're going to be towing a trailer. So now typically with most smaller trailers, you're going to have an S-hook style. S-hook fits in this, no problem. Go either way, plenty of room for it to grab on and not bind up. Now with the heavier duty clevis, that as well. You might have a little bit of binding if it gets real close right here, but it can still flow pretty freely throughout here, so you could get away with using that as well. Last but not least, we also need to make sure that we have a pin and clip. Now this is not going to come with your trailer hitch. It typically comes with whatever accessory you have, but you can also pick some of these up here. I highly recommend picking up one that locks. That way once you have your accessory or your hitch on there, you don't ever have to worry about somebody walking up and stealing it. As far as installation goes, this one is super easy. Dodge did it right. They gave you 4 mounting points in the frame rail, and they even supplied the bolts for you, so you already have factory hardware. You don't have to get anything new and worry about anything kind of already being lost in the kit with it. So all you have to do is just drop your spare tires, give yourself a little bit extra room to work, and then you'll just pull out the factory hardware on both sides of the frame, and then you can slot your hitch up into place. I highly recommend having someone else with you for that, help hold it up. This is a pretty heavy duty hitch, so it is a little bit heavier than normal. If this is something you don't feel like doing yourself though, you can use our dealer locator. You'll just type in your zip code to find a shop near you that'll get it installed professionally. If you do want to do this yourself, stick around and I'll show you how I did it. Start for install, you don't technically have to drop your spare tire, but it's going to make this a whole lot easier if you do, because we're going to be reusing the factory hardware that's already in your frame. So if you look right here on the frame, there's going to be 2 bolt holes with bolts already in it, and the same thing over on this side. So it's going to be a super easy install. We're going to start off with a 21mm socket. We're going to take these out. Now if you do have a diesel model, there will be some additional steps you'll need to fill out. just because you're gonna have to drop your def tank just a bit. You won't fully pull it out, but you'll have to just kind of loosen it up so you can wiggle it around a bit to get some stuff through. Now, this isn't a diesel model, so I won't be able to show you that, but there are steps listed in the instructions if that's something you have to do. All right, almost got this one out. And once you get these out, you can kind of see they're pretty dirty. So I'm gonna take a wire brush and just clean out our weld nut in there a bit, but we'll take all 4 of these bolts out and clean them. If yours are real gummed up or rusty, you can also shoot a little bit of penetrating oil in there first, and then run through with your brush, just clean up those threads. With the help of my super buff assistant, Brad here, we're gonna lift our heavy duty hitch up into place. Now when you're doing this, you're gonna wanna get it past, so on the inside of your spare tire cover here. We'll just thread those in. Once you get them a little bit of the ways, you can start on the other one, and then they'll help support itself. Now with all of our hardware snugged down, we can torque it to the specifications listed in the instructions manual. Well, I think that does it for today's look at and installation of the Blue Ox Trailer Hitch receiver here on our 2015 Dodge Durango. Please feel free to reach out to us via our Ask the Experts link, a comment on this video, or a phone call to our customer service department. We'd be happy to help you out on your journey.